today is upper body. As you can see, I look like Larry the Lobster. So that's fun. So today's Monday. Saturday, Rach did a Spartan race. It's the one that I was supposed to do, but obviously I intentionally stacked my quads so I wouldn't have to do it. So that was Saturday, and it started off really overcast and not sunny at all. But then, all of a sudden, it became the sunniest day we've ever had. But the problem was, it took me like half an hour to walk from place to place. So what that meant was, half an hour, like an hour. So I ended up basically getting stuck in the sun, wearing a vest. And as you can see, I got quite red. So I got sunburned. I did more than 12,000 steps that day, which is obviously a huge increase. So that's more in one day than what I've been doing. I was lazy. Than what I've been doing in a full week. What I'm also doing now is I'm intentionally trying to make an effort to do more things like squatting. So you can see I'm working places like my quads as often as I can. So these are my, what's it called, functional squats. These are the ones where I'm not deliberately trying to load my quads. I'm just trying to stand up so that my capacity to do this increases over time. And I mean, it's only like last week when I could first even do this. So there has been improvement. But what I'm trying to do at the minute is about 50 of these a day. So I just figure I may as well do them whilst I'm in the gym instead of having to go out my way to do other specific ones. So I'm going to do a few between sets. My actual training now, I've started to, sounds silly, but I've started to get interested in training again. I don't know why. Oh no, I'm just rambling. Right, it's not that I've not wanted to train, I have, but I've just sort of started, something's like changed in my mind, and now, why is this not working? And now, I actually actively want to get to some goals. So I'm wanting to be more intentional. Now my plan today was to like sit down and write out a proper training block to start working on it. But my day today, I don't know how it's ended up happening, but my diary has just got like slam-packed full. So I've got 800,000 meetings. And this is the only time I've got today where I've got more than half an hour free. So I wanted to try and get in here, train. I don't know if I'm going to have any time to go for a walk, but this is basically the only time I was going to have. So it was either, the choice was, spend this time planning a training block, or come in the gym and train. I don't know about you, but I think training is a better use of time than writing training. So that's why I'm in here now. So I'm doing this fast and loose with no real plan. The only plan I have is that this is upper body. That's literally it for my plan. So I've written on the board, bench press, pull up, lateral, curl. That kind of covers everything for upper body, doesn't it? Most things. I think I've been thinking about it more. I do still think I want to try and total 700. It's probably going to have to be very different to what it was going to be. So I mean, on the day of the competition, even if I didn't do that, if I'd have just squatted 260, I probably still wouldn't have been far off. Anyway, no point in dwelling on that, is there? It's probably going to have to be something like a 180 squat, a 200 bench, and a 320 deadlift, which I realise sounds very delusional, but I'm not talking like 6 weeks time. This is more like years, plural, to get there. Assuming I do still stay interested. I think the deadlift I know I definitely want to do. Like, I want to do a 300 kilo deadlift conventional, and if I could do a 300 conventional, then chances are I'd be able to pull 320 sumo, at least the way I was before. I don't know if that's going to change with my quads, because obviously that's, my anatomy is now different. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. The quads are obviously involved in deadlift, but a big part of it was my hips were actually quite flexible. My glutes were quite strong. So I have no shame in doing the 700 total, pulling sumo. If that's what I need to do, then I'll do it. Right. Question is 100 kilos going to be a work set or a warm-up set? You know what, I should go get my velocity, shouldn't I? And do some tracking to see what my max is. No, that's more wasted time. It's in the house, which is why I say that. It's literally like there on the other side of that wall, but I have to go in. It'll take me like 10 minutes to go and get it, which is ridiculous. Not too bad. This is basically like circuit training, isn't it? So I've been tracking body composition and stuff. My weight has gone up. So 4 weeks ago, roughly, when I started tracking stuff, I weighed 99 kilos. I then went into what in theory should have been like a 600 calorie deficit. Don't know why this isn't playing. So I went into what in theory was like a 600 calorie deficit. I haven't been super accurate in terms of like being anal about what exactly I'm hitting, but I have been making sure that on average I'm right. So I've been I've averaged at like about 3,500-ish calories, when my maintenance is about 4,200, 4,000 to 4,200-ish. So that means I should have been losing about £1 a week. Now, in reality, my weight has actually been going up. So I'm now 2 kilos heavier. So there's a few different things you could think there. Well, you could think what you want, but there's a few different like explanations. So the obvious one, the big one, is that I'm not tracking properly and I'm not eating that food. I'm eating more than I think. That could be true, but I've been tracking for literally more than 10 years. I know what's in different foods, I know how much, and I've continued to track with the same level of accuracy as normal. So it's probably not accurate, it's consistently inaccurate. I also haven't changed the types of foods I'm eating, and the reason that's important is if you go from inaccurately tracking one type of food to inaccurately tracking another, the margin for error could be higher. So if you're inaccurately tracking, for example, chicken breast versus mince, chicken breast is chicken breast, like it's very lean, so it's unlikely you're going to accidentally have an extra 500 calories a day or whatever from it. Whereas mince, because it's a lot fattier, you could end up having an extra 500 calories a day from just tracking the mince wrong. You know, like if I changed from chicken to mince or whatever. So it's not that. So then the next thing is potentially it's just not a deficit. But I've got a lot of data to suggest that my maintenance is around the 4,000 to 4,200. Even up until I started being able to move, I was maintaining my weight on that. So then, doing more activity, more exercise, plus eating less, it should be a deficit. But clearly, it doesn't look like it is. So the next thing is, when you look at the extra supplements that I'm taking, not a lot, but they are new-ish, like for me, for like in the last 2-3 months, 3-4 months, 3 months, basically since the op, they could make you heavier when in a deficit, but you wouldn't think it would take 3 months for them to start to making me heavier. You'd think it would have started happening straight away. It's probably not that. So then the next thing is actually building some muscle and losing some fat at the same time, which seems very unlikely, but I have all the things stacked in my favour, or I have a lot of things stacked in my favour to make that more likely. So I'll go through them in just a sec. And there is a pin. Don't want to accidentally stand on that. Let me just do this set and then I'll go through that. That was nice. So, building muscle, losing fat at the same time, it's not likely unless you're in certain circumstances. So one circumstance is you're a complete beginner. That's obviously not me. Another circumstance is you're returning from time off from training at a lower baseline to what you were at before. That's me. If you're using certain sports performance supplements, that's me. If you are recovering from an injury, that's also me. So I tick quite a few of the boxes. If you're like generally doing things right, or more right than wrong, then you're more likely to be doing it as well. Again, I tick that box. Was that 5 or 10? I'm going to assume it was 5. So basically, I think that's what's happening. And the reason, or the extra reasons I've got to support that, are my weight has gone up 2 kilos, and my waist has gone down about 3 inches in that time frame. My arms are bigger, my shoulders are bigger, my hips, so around my glutes, are bigger, my calves are bigger, my legs are bigger, so everything's bigger except my waist is smaller. Now, when you look at the pictures side by side, if you are intentionally looking for it, you can see those changes. If you're not, then you won't. But from measurements alone, that data suggests that I probably have rebuilt some muscle and lost some fat. But as a consequence, I'm now slightly heavier. I'm actually today the heaviest that I've ever been. I was 101.4 kilos and I'm only 5'6", so I'm not big. Like, I'm not a big person. I still would like to get lighter, just because I think it'll make lots of things easier. But it's cool, because when I was just looking at the numbers of like weight is just going up, it's, even when I know logically that's not the only thing that matters, it does still make you double take and think, oh, am I doing something wrong? But then when I've got the numbers now to confirm it, it makes that less of a concern. So that's where I'm at with that. I've still got a belly. But it's generally positive. So last couple of weeks with first Rich was ill, then I was ill. Then we're away this weekend. I've got marks everywhere. Threw off like the routine a little bit. But moving forwards, I'm looking at like what I actually can start doing now to build towards a total and to be able to do other stuff. So I'm thinking like bench 2-3 times a week, my squat rehab, I'm doing that daily still, and then 2 or 3 actual like leg sessions. Probably go to the gym twice a week, use the equipment and stuff they've got there, like the sled, the cardio kit. I still can't bend my legs enough to use the bike, so I don't know if you can see there how much of a bend there is. I say that's probably about 90 degrees or so. So that's like the main thing for my knees at the minute, is just getting that range of motion better. Right. I think that was just a PB for coming back, but this definitely is. So this is 110. Even for 1 rep will be a PB. That was alright. I'm also trying to do squats in different stances for no reason other than just variety. Deeper than some of you squat. Do I go up again? I think we know the answer to that. So that was 110. And go 115 next. So my thoughts for the program, I've been torn between training. Basically, I don't know what it is, but I like either training only 4 days a week or 7 days a week. I don't really want to do 5 or 6. And I don't have a good reason. I just don't. So I like 4 days because it's 4 days. Each day, dedicate more time to it. It's more of like a fun thing. But then the negative is if you miss a day, it throws off schedule. 7 days, I like training, so it means I get to train every day. But also, it means that I can have it just as part of my routine. So, same sort of time every day, nutrition the same. Don't have to do anything crazy different each day. But then the downside is each training session potentially not doing as much. Obviously recovery is important, but like if you're modulating the per session work, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Then the other thing is if you miss a day, for some reason it's not as big of a thing. I don't know. Logically, like, right, if one of my athletes was like, I want to train 7 days a week, I'm like, no, you should take a day off at least. So then I'm like, don't be an idiot. Probably sensible to just do 6 and basically just do upper lower off. So then the 3 upper body sessions can be like normal training. The 3 lower body sessions can be more intense squat stuff. It's more intense quad work. That's sort of beyond rehab and more into like strengthening and training my hamstrings, glutes, stuff like that. And deadlifting. Because thinking about it, for powerlifting, I had my best training when I was either training 4 or 5 days a week. 4 days, when I was stronger, 4 days was actually better. When I was doing more specific, just like peaking, 4 days was more fun. It was better sessions. When I'm not peaking, I preferred 5. So 3 upper bodies, 2 lower bodies. But probably 5 days a week is sensible too. So then it's just working it around when I go to the other gym versus training at home. So the problem with the other gym is I have to be there for like 2.5 hours. Whereas in here I can come train for half an hour. I'm getting to the point of where I'm like, might be time to just be like, Aaron, write my program again. As more things are coming up, more freedom, there's more choice, more decisions to make. It's difficult to be objective with the decisions for yourself. I don't know. Right, let's see if I can do this. What have I got on? I think it's 110, 115. Hardest part's unracking it. That one was tough. I actually felt like that was hard from a muscular perspective. I think that'll probably be the top set for the day. I'm not too dissatisfied with that. I didn't really have a number in mind. I was just like, sets of 5 will do. And give a good indication of what top end is likely to be. So 115 for 5. Maybe like a 125, 130 max. It's not too bad really. So then next, either pull up or pull down. One, 5. 5 sets of squats. The squats are done, bench is done. I'm going to go pull down just because it's already... am I being lazy? Yeah, I'm being lazy. I'll do pull-ups instead of pull-downs. I think, well, I don't think, I know I'm not particularly good at pull-ups at the minute. So I think I was just being lazy then. So then we've got overhand or neutral grip. And where's the overhand? So we'll go overhand. See what this one feels like. Right. I guess we're not getting any more music today. No signal. Can you see my pull-up belt anywhere? Right in there. 5 kilos for this. So at the Spartan race, so what she did was, it was half marathon, so about 13 miles, and there were 30 obstacles. So the obstacles ranged from, like, the easiest one was basically like crawling under a cargo net, to crawling under a cargo net in the mud, to crawling under a cargo net with an electric wire above it, to jumping into basically water, baby lakes, to climbing over obstacles, literally jumping over fire, monkey bars, all sorts of stuff. I'm terrible at that. Let's do a drop set. This is my non-scientific training. So 3 plus 1, 5 kilogram plus body weight. Yeah, so obviously couldn't see all of the events and stuff, but from watching them, it was essentially running and then upper body pulling movements. So to be able to do the event successfully, you essentially, if you could basically do like 20 pull-ups strict and you could run, you'd be able to do well. There wasn't too much else from like a physical perspective that you would have had to have been able to do. But obviously, I'm saying not too much else. I don't mean that in terms of that it's easy, absolutely not. I mean in terms of simple. So I think one of the biggest things, so like for Rich particularly, is the orthopedic stress of not being used to covering that kind of distance, running for that long, the wear and tear on the body. So like knees, hips, that sort of thing, all just knackered. So that's something that she'll need to build up tolerance for. And I think even if we pretend that my quad injury didn't happen, I was supposed to be doing it, I don't think, so I was intending to lose weight for it and to start running and stuff. I don't think that I would have had enough time to prepare for it enough to make it, that's the wrong one, isn't it? To make it so it wouldn't suck. So I still think It'd be miserable, almost no matter how you prepared for it. So the fastest time was like an hour and a half or something. It's just obscene. Rach and Jack, who did it with her, they were like 4 hours 38 or something. It's just insane. I think it's like the mental thing more than anything, rather than the physical. Like, I don't think they struggled too much with like with the obstacles specifically. It was just the sticking to itiveness. How weird. It basically just keeping it up, I think, was the hardest bit. But they did it. Right. It would be good if I had an assisted pull-up machine. I don't even think there's one at the gym. Or there might be one, but it's upstairs. I can do some stairs now. I can get up like 8 or 9 steps. And especially if there's a banister, I can do it. It just takes ages. It's much harder getting down than going up. I tell you what's really frustrating is how bad they are. To go from like being able to do strict muscle ups to struggling to do basic pull ups. Super frustrating. But it's time, innit? Stupid time. So yeah, for training, if we go 5 days, what I could do is 5 days with a floating 6th day, so that if I want to, I can do a 6th session. I also need to start doing a cardio, but 2 cardio sessions a week is probably enough to start. And then basic walking has improved. It's still not great. Still my feet that end up being a problem. I don't really have anything useful to talk about, to be honest. Yeah, just stuff, things. I'll tell you what I have done actually. I've been sorting out the ASC Performance app. So we sold the gym. As a company, that will be closing, and then I will be personally having the ASC Performance app and members area. So what that's going to be is basically you're going to get 2 parts with it. So one is the actual ASC Performance app, which has got all the training, all the programs, everything else in it. And the other one is the members area. They're 2 separate entities, because if you put the community and stuff on the training app, it'll make the training app go slower, and I don't want that. I want it to stay fast when you're using it when you're in the gym, so it's not loading and refreshing and stuff. And the same the other way around, if there's the community with the training app on it, it'll slow the community down. So 2 separate entities, 2 separate apps, and it means that like you can cross share stuff between the 2 if you want, but the idea is your program, all your personal stuff is on the app, then the community stuff is on the community. So Q&As, technique reviews, modules, that sort of stuff, like which training programs to choose, that kind of thing. So this is like my way of doing somewhere between here's my programming and coaching, in that I can help coach people but in a group setting rather than like just one-to-one. So that means I can make it a lot cheaper, because the time it takes, it's much easier in the group setting than it is just straight up one-to-one. So I sorted out like a basic landing page for that. Need to make a better one, but looking to try and get that out August, I think would be a good date. And then the goal is basically to fill that up as many people as possible. Probably the first 100 people, keep price as it is, and then maybe go up after that. So the way it's going to work is you get 28 days free, where you get access to both. At day 29, either you can pay to stay in, keep access to everything, or you leave and you've had a month's access to everything, a month's access to the coaching calls, the Q&As, technique reviews, whatever. So like there's loads of stuff in there for even for people that can't afford the 29 quid a month. They can still use it for a month, get loads out of it. If you want, like I don't care, go and download all the programs. Like that's your prerogative to do if you want. So that way I can help as many people as possible. And then it's just letting people know. And then for maybe take on 2 or 3 more people for actual like one-to-one coaching. But otherwise I'm kind of limited in how many people I can help. So that's the way of doing that. Or at least that's the way that I'm doing it. Right. Let's see if Mr. Week can do more. I put all this on the app afterwards as well. I think I'm gonna, so the way it works is you will sign up, you then can choose one of however many programs there are, whichever one you want, you select that, you select the days you want to do it, add it to your like calendar in it. It's very self-explanatory when you go through it. But with the additional members area, there's basically a start here section. You go there and it will be, if this, do this program, if this, do this program. So you can chop and change. And what I'm doing is, with the base programs and individual blocks. So say there's a 12-week peaking program, but you're competing in 16 weeks. What you'll do instead is select, for example, hypertrophy block A3 or whatever. First, run that, then run the 12-week block. So you've got a nice cohesive 16-week block into your competition, or whatever it is, with different dates. So there's lots of different options. Obviously, it just takes time to put all of that in. So like, there's more than 200 different training blocks that I'm in the process of putting in. It's like, it just takes a while. And then there's new training blocks added every month, so that there basically isn't a scenario that you won't have the answers for if your goal is to get jacked and massive and lean and strong, but most importantly strong. Right. Cool. Done. Laterals and curls. I'm just going to do these facing the other way because it's easier. Laterals. I'll go at 8 kilos. Downside of only having one of each dumbbell, I can only do single arm. I can only do dumbbell stuff one side at a time. think because I spent like 5 years of doing laterals every session, I basically don't really have to do them very much to get a lot out of them now. I mean, like, if I did want to get bigger, then obviously I probably need to do more, but given my current physique and weak points and stuff, don't really need to do them too much. I think biceps are a big thing. Obviously ignoring my legs, because right now they're tiny. Excuse me. I'm just conscious of the time, which is why I'm kind of rushing a bit now. Just one more set of each of these, and then head in, a quick shower, get back to work. This is fairly heavy for me for curls, because I'm not very Herculean at the minute. I think that was 6. That's the closest I've come to working hard in ages. Might actually start to make some progress. More progress. And do this for a thumbnail. That's it. Done. Not a bad session really. Bench, pull up, curl, squats. Not too displeased. Tomorrow will be, I think I might go to the gym tomorrow. I don't know what Rach is doing, so it depends on that. So if she is, then I'll go to the gym. If I do go to the gym, then I'll do a technique review instead of this video. Still got a bit of a backlog I'm clearing, and then that'll be it. Back to normal training. I'll write my stupid 5-day program this week. Take care.